guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. I hope you're all doing really well. Today we're going to be doing my December budget video. I've been trying to do these every single month in 2025 to keep on top of my finances, figure out what money I've got coming in, where it's then going to be going, what bills I have to pay, my mortgage, my childcare bills, everything in between, and then also what I actually want to spend my money on for fun, what I want to save towards, and how I'm going to actually plan for the future a little bit, because whoa, there's been a lot of times where in the past I have just been living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing when my money goes, kind of tapping the first week of payday and then not really knowing what to do for the last 3 weeks of the month. And since I've been doing these videos and like figuring out how to budget my money on a spreadsheet and then through like apps on my phone that have helped me, genuinely, it has been life-changing. Money isn't as much of an issue because at least I have a little bit of control over it now. So hopefully that'll give you a little bit of inspo to do that. If not for December, then for 2026. And I will be also sharing a brand new 2026 budget video, as well as a brand new spreadsheet for next year. However, if you've already bought the spreadsheet that I use on Etsy, which I sell over on Etsy, which I'll pop down below, it's the one that I use every single month. In these videos, if you have already got the same spreadsheet that I use, then don't repurchase it in 2026 because it will be very similar. It'll just probably be a bit different colors and just zhuzhed up a bit, but generally the older spreadsheets are just the same. You can just change the number at the top to say 2026 instead. But I will be using the same spreadsheet in this video. I'm just going to hide some of the cells because I've got from January to December, and obviously we're right at the end of the year, so I'm going to hide all of the January to November cells all the way, so you're just going to see December in this. I will pop the link to the actual spreadsheet down below, and if you can't wait till 2026 to get the new spreadsheet, then just get the 2025 one and just change the year at the top for next year. Honestly, it's basically going to be the same, so it's just a little rebrand just to freshen it up a bit, but other than that, like everything else will be exactly the same. Anyway, we're going to get straight into it. This is what the spreadsheet's looking like at the moment. I'm now going to hide all of that and you're just going to see December. So this is what we're working with here. We've literally just got December up because that's all that's left of this year. And we're going to start off with income. This month, I have made £2,750. That is after tax, after everything has come out, like government money wise, and then I have also got £172.20 coming in for child benefit. But as always, I take that straight out and that goes into my kids' junior ISAs, so I don't actually have that money and use it. I put it into junior ISAs for both of the kids. They both get £86 each, and I think there's like 10p, rogue 10p or 20p that gets left in our account, but that is what happens with that. And for me, it's something that I'm always going to prioritize, like even when we earned significantly less, like this would have been like our joint income at one point when we first had George, my eldest, and we were still putting this money into investments. I feel like it is just such an amazing gift that you'd be able to give your kids, like a really decent head start, whether that's driving lessons, a car, help with going to uni, deposit on a flat, like whatever it is. A lot of us didn't have that, and so to be able to get something like that for the kids, I would just be really happy if we were able to actually like follow through with that and give them that little gift. So that's a real priority for us. And moving down to expenses, everything you see in this category are joint costs that I share with my husband. So everything in this that I'm going to put in is the total cost of the bill. And then at the bottom, you'll see that it has my half, which is everything divided by 2. That's just how we do it. We do 50-50 and it's always worked for us. We kind of earn similar amounts and weirdly always have, like, it's kind of worked that we all started at like not barely anything. Like I said, like 80, I think at one point Ash was on like £16,000 a year. I was on like 19,000 when I started in the civil service, and then we gradually went up and up and up through our careers. And that means the 50-50 has always kind of made sense for us. And so for our mortgage, currently we pay £1,253 a month. And then we also choose to overpay on our mortgage by £200 a month. That's like, we always do that. That's just a direct debit that comes out. And so the total amount that comes out is like 1,453, and that comes out every month. And then we also overpay on our mortgage with an app called Sprive, which is basically a cashback app, and the money that you earn in cashback goes towards your mortgage. And the amount that you save by overpaying on your mortgage long term is unbelievable. It's the most value for money cashback app I have ever used. I have a code with them, which is SHAN5, and that gets you £5 towards your mortgage. And then if you share it with like your other half or a friend or whoever, when they download the app, you also get a fiver. So in total, we got a tenner towards our mortgage. If you've got a big mortgage or if your interest rate is high, you are laughing by using this app. Basically, every week I use it on like our weekly food shop. I'll like either get an Asda delivery or go to Tesco or something, Christmas shopping and all that kind of stuff. But once you put that towards your mortgage and you're saving on that interest, like it genuinely flabbergasted me how much money that we were saving just by putting a small extra amount onto our mortgage. In addition to the £200, like I think each month we're trying to do like 30 or 40 or £50 in cashback as well. And it's making such a huge dent into the mortgage. We are actually in such a better position when it comes to moving next year. So I would highly recommend it. Like you'll be shocked, I think, to see how much money you save. But anyway, moving on, we go to food and groceries, which for us monthly is £400. It's a struggle sometimes to keep it that low, like under £100 a week every week. And that includes some like kind of toiletry things, but most toiletry things we get on Amazon Subscribe and Save. So the toiletry things we get at the supermarket, for example, are things like shampoo, conditioner, for the kids and Ash. I get mine separately because I like a posher one, like a fancy one, but I get them like once every 6 months, which comes up in the beauty category, which is later on because that's my private like fund, and like maybe like kitchen spray and stuff like that. But other than that, we get everything else on Amazon Subscribe and Save, which is why it's cheaper and not included in the weekly food shop. Water is £58 a month. Gas and electric, 170. We've got £15.50 for home insurance. Life insurance is £28. We have very minimal life insurance though. I would say life insurance should be more expensive than that, and probably is if I got like proper cover, something I will definitely be doing in the next house. Internet, so we've got £30. TV licence, £15. Council tax, £174. Cleaner. Now, we had a cleaner for the first time last month, and I just wanted to test it and see like, oh, is this going to save me loads of time? Could I be working whilst the cleaner's coming, and like I'll be making money and like paying her? Yeah, but it might just be easier to do that rather than like take a whole half day of my time to deep clean the house. Like surely I could be making more money than it would be costing, because I'm self-employed. Like that's how it works. If I'm not working, if I'm not creating, if I'm not doing something, I'm not getting paid. And I was just like wasting half of my child-free day, the day that I'm supposed to be working, on cleaning the house. And I despise cleaning the house, frankly. They came, it was a faff because I have to get the dog out, I have to leave the house, and then I'm like, well, if I'm leaving the house, I'm not working, I'm not earning money. I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to sacrifice like half a day to clean the house. It's fine, it's not that deep. So we have cancelled the cleaner now. That is the long and short of it. Childcare is £101. We use the government top up. So we do tax-free childcare, which is 20%, and then we also get 30 hours free for my 2-year-old. And so that's why the childcare is so low. Like when my son was this age, firstly, he was going a lot longer hours than my daughter does because I was working full time. And secondly, they didn't have the same funding model that they have at the moment. It was over £1,000 a month. And so like I get it if people are still paying that extortionate amount, like £100, I'm never ever going to be more grateful for the fact that it's only that amount. And I only have one child in childcare now because my son has started school. Spotify is £17. Ring doorbell and other like cameras and stuff that we've got, £8 a month for the subscription. Swimming has gone down to £35 a month. We were paying like 60, 65, 70 pounds a month depending on the length of the month, and my son has now started a different swimming which is £35 a month, so that's good. My daughter does toddler gymnastics and that is about £20 a month. It's pay as you go though, which I like a lot, because if we're having a really bad day then you don't have to pay if you don't end up going, so that's good. Football, £25 a month, so all in all for kids clubs we're looking at about £80, and that's not too bad considering there's 3 different clubs and they're like getting a lot of, you know, energy out, burning their energy and all that kind of stuff, whereas before I think we were paying quite a lot more. Amazon Subscribe and Save, £30 a month. Again, this is like toilet roll, kitchen roll, cow pole, basically anything you can think of that you can get on Amazon Subscribe and Save that we get regularly, bin bags, everything. Like that is where we're getting those things, and that's why we put away £30 a month every month for it, so that when the month comes around that all of the Amazon Subscribe and Save stuff comes, like once every 4 months or whatever it is, we've got enough money in the bank to pay for it, and it works out a lot cheaper than getting it on the weekly food shop. Holland and Barrett Subscribe and Save for the kids' vitamins is £14, and then we've got Netflix £6, which is the lowest tariff they do, and you just have to watch a couple of adverts, and I really don't mind, so I thought we would go for the lowest subscription. And then dog food, we pay £40 a month. We have a button-up box that arrives, and basically just they send really nice yummy dog food, and we found like the perfect one for our dog that suits her. And so 40 quid a month, and it just gets delivered to your door. It's pretty easy. And so the grand total for our joint bills is £2,639.50 a month, meaning my half is £1,319.75. And so that is what I transfer into the joint account every single month. And then we have personal expenses and spending money. Now these are actually two separate accounts for me. So what I do is my money comes into my personal account. I then have a direct debit or a standing order set up to go into the joint account with the amount that we just spoke about. And then I just have like a remaining amount in my account, which I then have to manually like manage. The reason I have to manually manage it is because I pay myself on different days. Like basically because I'm not employed, I pay myself rather than get my like pay slip through. So it's not the same day every month. It is just different depending on when invoices come through and all that kind of stuff. So my personal expenses is what I leave in this account without having, I don't faff about with this money basically. Like my personal expenses are just these. I don't have any other debt, don't have any other bills, any other subscriptions or anything that come out of this account. It is just my car tax and my gym classes. And so my car tax is £17 a month, and then my gym classes are £36 a month. So a total of £53 I have to have in that account at all times. So I usually just leave like £55 in there just to like have a little round up, and then I go down to my spending money. So with my spending money, these are individual pots that I have like created on Monzo, but you can literally use any kind of app that does this. I think this is the key to actually being accountable for like spending and all of that kind of stuff, like spending in areas that are actually important to you. Because when you see it written down, you can go, well, do I really want to spend £60 on nails? Do I really want to spend £60 on eyelashes? Like, and then you see it all add up and you go, that's a lot of money. And so for me, like personally, those are the things that I've cut corners with, like beauty treatments and all that kind of stuff that I used to really, really prioritize. I now do much cheaper versions of those. So for example, social this month, even though it's December, and I you know, I would like to have a bit more spare to do more social things, if I'm honest. I'm only putting 20 quid in there because, to be honest, I've got so much booked in with the kids. I don't have time to be going out really doing much else. So we're going to get a bit 20 quid in there. That's enough for like a couple of bottles of wine. If I do like have a little girls' night or have a drink with Ash or whatever. Day to day, I'm just going to have £50 in there. And for that, I just like having a tiny bit of cash with it, but like the miscellaneous stuff, basically, things that I don't really know where they fit. If me and the kids just pop into Lidl quickly to get something from the bakery, just having a little bit of cash in there is helpful. Home stuff, I'm going to put £50 in, anything to do with the house, basically. Cleaning stuff, kitchen utensils, you know, when something breaks randomly, like home stuff. Yeah, it's nice to have a little fund in there. Petrol is 150. That's the same every month, but I actually had some left over last month, which is helpful for December because again, there's going to be a lot more driving around. Clothes, we're doing £35. Hair, we're doing 20. I get my hair done once every 8 weeks, and it costs £40 every time I get it done, and so £20 a month, perfect. Nails, 0, because I have actually got falsies on, but these are like just press-ons, and I've got a load of these, and I'm gonna redo them like in time for Xmas and stuff. Getting Christmas nails done and getting Christmas like eyelashes and beauty treatments and stuff can add up a lot, and I'm not prioritizing it. I'm gonna do some DIY jobbies and that will do me. Same with my lashes. Beauty subscriptions, £30. I know I said I didn't have any other subscriptions, but these are ones that I've like paused and then I just renew them whenever I want to. And so like £30 a month will do me for like my lashes, say my nails if I wanted to get those done, if I wanted to get more estried like razor heads and things like that, that will cover all of those things. But I've got enough at the moment. I haven't used them loads and loads, and so I don't need to and do any of that. But £30 in there is nice. And if I wanted to get like if I needed a top up of anything else, then I can dip into that. I'm not really an expensive makeup kind of gal, but it is nice to treat yourself every now and then. And then we have 2 joint spending pots between me and my husband. So we've got days out with the kids that we both put £100 in, and honestly, best fund ever. It's so nice to just have an allocated amount of money to like actually be like, right, no, we can go out and do something really nice together. And obviously with December coming, it's really nice to be able to have that money aside to do that. Eating takeaways, 30 quid each. So we get probably like one decent takeaway, and then we probably just get like a cup, like if it's a Mackey's or something like that, like, you know, whatever. But we're not massive takeaway, even though I would absolutely love to be once a week takeaway kind of gal. We're a once a month kind of takeaway family, like the payday weekend of the first of the month. Yes, cannot wait. So in total, my spending pot is £485, and then my personal expenses are £53. And then we've got savings and sinking funds. The top section is personal and the bottom section is joint. And it is what it says on the tin. The top ones are my personal ones that I only contribute towards. Ash has his own ones. And then the joint ones are ones that we are saving up towards things for together. And so that's what a sinking fund is basically. It's just saving up little amounts of money every month in order to do something like bigger whenever that time comes. And so you basically just figure out what the total amount of the thing that you want to do is. Like, for example, Eurocamp in May, saw how much that would cost and then divided it by the amount of months until we went, and then we just figured out how much we would actually have to save towards it. And it works so much better than having to like stress out loads when you get to that point. Like if you've actually figured out a way of like basically giving yourself like a finance plan before, I just love it. It's so much less stressful than what we used to do. But my personal one starts off with the emergency fund. I like to put £100 in there, but this month I'm putting 50 because we've just got a lot of other things. I feel like I do this a lot. I overcommit to things, and I shouldn't, but I have, and so hey ho. The moving fund, we've got £200 going into that. Ash has his own separate moving fund. We can't always put the same amount in, so we kind of just have done it like a little bit separately this time, which is fine. We bring different things to the party, definitely, in that respect, and that, you know, it just works for us, like I say. Car maintenance, I've got 0, and car insurance, I've got 0. The reasons being, these are pots that I save up like money into so that I can pay for these things outright when they come around. So car maintenance being MOT, service, anything actually going wrong with my car. I've got a solid fund of like 300 quid in there, and I would like to think that I don't have to pay any more than that. Obviously, bad things do happen with cars, don't get me wrong, and it would never hurt to have more in there. But for now, £300 I think is okay. And then my car insurance fund is like 450 quid because that's what it was last time I renewed. But I know that it's going to be far, far less this time. I don't know why, but car insurance went really high up and then now it's gone really low again. And so when it's time to renew my car insurance, I've got plenty of money in there. So I don't have to pay towards that one at the moment. Birthdays, we've got £50 going into that just because it's nice to save up towards like a nice birthday surprise or present or outing or night out or whatever it might be. And then Christmas, £100 going into that pot. I've actually managed every single month this year to put £100 in, I think. So it has worked out really, really well. And we've got like a really decent fund for Christmas this year. Like all the presents are done because I could just buy them as and when, because I had the fund in there ready. I could get things on offer when I needed to get them on offer, and then we still got some money in there for like Christmas food and Christmas activities and all the events and stuff that we've got planned over Christmas. So it's just really nice to have actually been able to fully complete that for 1 year and be like grateful to my past self for doing so. And then treats is 20. Basically with the treats, I have a couple of things in my mind that I would really like to save up towards, like things for myself that I would really, really like. However, I am never going to be able to prioritize all of those things. And so I'm doing a really small amount every month, like 20 quid, like I say, towards treats. And when I have enough money in there, I'm going to decide which treat I want to get myself. And it will be a while. Like I say, I have other priorities. It definitely isn't the priority, but it's nice to think about yourself sometimes. I feel like maybe that's something that I'm going to take into 2026 is that maybe I don't have to be the most selfless person in the world. Maybe I could be a tad selfish sometimes. Like, you never know. And then we've got the joint pots, which are the joint savings sinking funds. So for Eurocamp May 2026, we're both putting £60 a month into that so that we've got a decent fund. We need to still buy the plane tickets, and then we still need like spending money and like other money and stuff for when we're there. So we're doing £60 a month. For the next, what is that, still 6 months away? So yeah, that should be fine. I think I could probably actually book the plane tickets now, so we're going to try and do that. Camping trips, we're going to put £40 each into the camping trips fund because we really want to do loads more this summer and probably in the spring as well. So if we carry on putting a little bit of money aside for it, then when it comes around we can just book it, no problems. It doesn't like impact that month specifically. School stuff, we're doing £10 each. That is basically anything to do with school, whether that's he needs a new pair of shoes, new tops, like loses his gloves, all of that kind of stuff. Or if they have like a school disco that you have to contribute a bit of money towards, or there's like children in need day and need a quid or whatever it might be, that's that fund basically. Anything to do with school, anything you might need. £10 a month, actually it ends up being 20 a month because it's both of us. It works out really well and it is definitely used, so that is, I'm very grateful for that. Kids clothes, we do £15 a month each onto that. Normally the school stuff, like school clothes, comes out of the school stuff pot, and then kids clothes is normally like more weekend clothes or hats, scarves, like coats and umbrellas, things that you need, and like things for the new season and when they grow out of things and stuff. So again, £30 a month each, and then probably like once every 3-4 months is when they get new clothes to obviously like be suitable for the next season. School holidays, we do £25 a month, and that's each, so that's £50 a month in total. And that is because when it comes to school holidays, like whether it's a half term or a 2-week break, or I can't even believe that it's going to be 6 weeks at some point, because this is our first year doing the whole school holidays thing. We need money to like entertain the kids, days out, things to do so they're not bored, and holiday clubs because we both work. And I love to say that this isn't a job because it's like fun and interesting, and obviously I've had a much harder job in the past which was a proper job, and this I never will see as a proper job, but I do make an income from it and my family does rely on it, and so I do have to take it seriously. I cannot do this job with the kids about, like I'm not filming the kids loads, and I'm not like, they're not around and part of my content as much anymore, and I want it that way. And so yeah, holiday clubs is going to be a thing, and so £50 a month for both of us. Holiday clubs, days out, activities, all that kind of stuff for the school holidays is an essential, definitely. We then have 2 weddings next year, one in October, one in June. One is a cruise and one is a normal wedding like in the UK, but we'll have to like stay overnight, and obviously we want to be able to get them a nice gift and all of that kind of stuff. And so the cruise one, we are doing £95 a month towards, like we paid our deposit and then we're just paying £95 a month towards that, and that includes like a nice gift and stuff for them. And then the other wedding, £25 a month, again, nice gift, hotel. It's just in the UK, so it's not too much. And so in total, all of my savings, sinking funds, things that I'm saving up towards is £690. And like I say, all of these ones are ones that my husband is also contributing towards. And then he has his own version of like savings and things, like whatever he wants to save up towards, whether he's got a trip with the boys or doing whatever it might be doing. That's what he does. And that's what I do. And it works really well. And then finally, we have investments, and you can see at the bottom the total remaining. So from the initial £2,750, we have £202.25 left, which is lucky considering I usually put about £200 into investments, which is what I'm going to do this month. So the future fund is £100. If I'm honest, it's looking like we're going to use the future fund towards moving house next year, which I know I haven't spoke about loads in this, because in terms of budget, like I'm saving towards it still, but we have got enough money for the move. Like we've already kind of done that. And if you guys want me to do a video on like the moving costs, like just about the moving costs, and I'm talking granular detail of what you have to spend when it comes to moving house, let me know, because I obviously have a spreadsheet. I obviously know all of the details on that. But if you are interested, then let me know and I will do that video. But the next couple of pots are the new car fund, which I'm just doing like £50 a month. I have no intention of getting a new car yet, but I know at some point I obviously will, and so I want to have some money towards it, as well as when you sell obviously the car, like when I sell this car, although my car is getting a bit janky, I'm not gonna lie, we have thought about maybe going down to one car when we move, just because Ash has a van, like he has a work van and stuff, so it kind of seems silly having 3 vehicles, and he rarely uses his, but there are a few times when it's good to have 2 cars, when on the weekends and stuff we were doing things separately with the kids, but I don't know, we'll figure that out in the new year. And then Japan 2030 is another £50. The reason I'm saving up towards that in investments is because it's quite a long term like plan, and I've already like saved I think like £1,000 towards the Japan trip, and so I'm just going to carry on and hopefully we'll have a decent amount of money towards the Japan trip in 2030. The reason in 2030 is because Ash's 40th is then, and we'd really like to go as a whole family and do like loads of really fun stuff, but yeah, it's obviously expensive. It's obviously expensive to do, so we are saving up now. And then with all of that considered, it leaves me with £2.25, which is exactly how I like it. Everything's allocated. I know where every single penny of my money is going this month. And obviously things happen, and you know, things that you don't see come around, but that's why I've got things like the emergency fund that has I think like 500 or something quid in it at the moment. I'd like that to be more, don't get me wrong. But things happened last month that meant we had to pay out for things that we didn't expect, and so that's why that fund is there. Obviously, with things like the moving fund, that has a decent amount of money in, so when moving does come around, we've got money for removals, money for solicitors, money for stamp duty, like we have really thought about the things that are coming up and hopefully have all bases covered. I know that isn't always the case, and that is the aim of this ultimately, is to have a little bit of control so that when life does chuck you those curveballs, you can kind of see them coming a little bit and have means to like be able to battle them a little bit. It's not going to completely ruin everything. But yeah, that is our December budget. Obviously, when I was talking about Christmas as well, because it is December, we have a big Christmas fund, which is not just for presents, not just for food, it's also for events and days out and things that we're doing with the kids. Like me and my mum are going to Butlins with the kids, and that money will be really useful when it comes to that, and it's going to be like really festive and lovely, and I can't wait. And I've got my previous self to thank for the fact that we're able to go on that trip. I really dislike when people kind of show on social media all these lovely, amazing events that they're going to, and then don't really talk about the cost of them, don't really talk about whether they're worth it or not, whether they've wasted their money, maybe they even regret the trip or whatever it might be, because that happens a lot. So many of the people that I know are going to like Lapland or Lapland UK and spending either hundreds or thousands of pounds on one day. And don't get me wrong, we're doing a couple of like nice events and stuff as well, and I will feed back as to whether they're worth it, but I just think sometimes a little bit of transparency would go a really long way, which is why I make these videos. Like I know not everyone is able to make like 2,700 and whatever pounds a month. Really recently I wasn't able to do that either. Sometimes I do think, oh, should I be sharing this? Is this like a bit cringe? But at the same time, I think it's really good to see. I want to see like what people that earn £100,000 spend their money on. I want to see what millionaires spend their money on, because I think it's really interesting to see how people divide their money, what they prioritize, what they spend it on, what debt they're in, what their life actually looks like on a granular detail kind of way, because not everything is as it seems, especially on social media. Like everyone has issues, everyone has priorities and things that they have to make sacrifices on. Like absolutely, no matter how much money you earn, there is always a sacrifice to be made, and I think we forget that sometimes. Definitely I do. I see things and I'm like, why are they getting to do that? I should be able to do that because I earn a decent amount of money, but I've chosen to do this, and I know my future self will thank me for not making those impulse purchases. Anyway, that is my TED Talk over. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you have a wonderful December, and I'll catch up with you really soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make